Hey friends, Karen Basket DIYer here. All right, you guys, thanks so much for coming back for another fun tumbler tutorial with me. You may be thinking, another wood grain, Karen? Really? I love doing wood grains so much. And you know, sometimes I change my technique up a little bit. But in this particular video, I'm showing you my ink application from start to finish. I don't edit out any of that. You will see me, you know, as I start my tumbler all the way to the finishing touches with the ink. So this one is just an Outdoorsman, kind of a woodsy, hunt, eat, sleep, repeat. Perfect for the hunter in your life. So anyways, just stay tuned, follow along, and I'll walk you through the steps and show you how I create this one. So for this one, I'm just gonna be using my favorite ink, which is one of the Let's Resin inks. Comes in that 18 pack like you've seen me use before. I get that off of Amazon, and I will link this for you in the description below. I wish you could purchase them individually because like I use coffee and brown so much that it'd be really nice to just purchase them individually. Okay, so I'm just gonna start by, my tumbler has been sanded really well, cleaned, and I spray painted this this morning. So it's really been gassing off all day. That was not necessary at this point, but I had other things going on. So you just start by making a line. There's really, I know some people are like, I mess up wood grains so easily or whatever, but they're pretty easy to do, I think. This brush, you guys, has been used over and over. I never clean it out. So it's got buildup of alcohol inks, wood grain, brown tones only, in it for the whole time I've been making tumblers. Okay, so just spritz your brush every now and then. Use it, and you can see some of those other colors starting to come out, but that'll be kind of cool to add to the effect. But the brush to me makes the biggest difference of all. I've tried it with little bitty paint brushes, and you know, to create knot holes and stuff, that is your best bet, but I don't really focus on creating knot holes. This is basically all I do, is just cover it and then brush back and forth. You know, you never want to go like this way. You only want to go up and down the tumbler. And I just kind of rotate, you know, I'll spritz my brush, or then I'll add more inks. We're just going to focus on getting it covered right now. These tumblers are great for men. So I get these off of Amazon, and you will find a link for them in the description below as well. Okay, real quick, let's move to the bottom. Well, make sure none of that's running. Now I'll move to the bottom. This is sometimes where I do use a small brush, if I can't get it to work out right here. You basically just want this to look like the end of a log, you know, a log that's been sliced in half. Or that's what I usually go for anyways. And if you'll kind of like, you know, I'm pressing down pretty firmly, and then I just kind of lift. Gives it a pretty decent look. Okay, so back to this area. As long as your brush is wet, you can move those inks around. Now, you don't want to just saturate your brush, but you want it to be wet enough that when you go across it, your inks start to move. And this, to me, is the cool part. You can start to see, think of just like a tree. You walk up to a tree and you see that bark and just all the different variations in it. I mean, that's just, I love this so much. Okay, another thing, you don't want to spritz your brush too close to your tumbler, so I always hold my tumbler back because it can create little splatter marks and, you know, just mess with your look. But as it starts to dry, it just creates such a cool look. And like I said, some people are really great at knot holes. There's a lot of different ways those can be achieved. I don't do the knot holes too much because I just really like the look that I get by doing this. And you know how you can just kind of turn your brush to an angle or on its end, the side. I don't know how to describe that. I'm just kind of using this part of the brush and dragging down just in a little section. Not even all the way to the bottom. Let that sort of dry. And then a little drag down. Back up. And it just gives it a really cool look. There's that kind of knot hole that I was attempting a little bit, but you know, I don't, like I said, I don't get into those too terribly much. And just when you think like you've got it perfect, you're gonna see a spot that you wanna kind of fix, that's okay. Because again, just spritz your brush and work it a little bit. I feel like I might need to put a little bit on my brush, so I just drip it right into the brush and then drag it down. And if you're hating how it's looking, you could literally take this bottle of alcohol, spray on it, and wipe it right off. And start again. Don't get discouraged if you are hating how it's looking. But I just think it's really cool looking, personally. You know, no tree is perfect, so you're gonna have imperfections, or you may not. You may just really get the hang of this and be like, well, that was the coolest thing ever, and come up with some amazing, amazing creations. A little too much of my white showing there. So yeah, just play around with it, have fun with it. Don't be too hard on yourself, especially if this is your first one. My very first wood grain ever was my best ever. Don't ask me how. I mean, I did go back and try to recreate a little bit of it and do a tutorial on it. So if you search back in my tutorials, you'll find that wood grain tutorial, and that cup I kept for myself. I mean, I put my name on it and it's mine. I love it so much. Okay, so I feel like I'm just gonna stop right here. I'm very pleased with this one. Just kidding, I'm not. I'm pleased with it, but I'm just gonna fix a little spot here that I see and try to create kind of the knot hole look or a spot in the wood. You can see some little splatter marks. That's just because, you know, I was a little rough there and it splatted up. But it can be fixed. It's basically just stop when you're happy with your tumbler, okay? Okay, so I got this really fun image off of, or SVG off of Creative Fabrica. I'm gonna attempt to wrap this whole thing around the tumbler because I want my little heartbeat lines to match up. I cut this at 11, just a tad over 11 inches to fit around this little short squatty tumbler, which I love. I think these are great for men. I mean, not just men, but for something like this, I think it's gonna be perfect. So I think my best bet for doing this, I need to be able to see my lines and where they line up, my grid on my tumbler when I'm applying it. So I'm going to, I am also taking a little bit of a risk. There is no Brite tone on this. It's only alcohol inks and then clear Rustoleum 2x spray paint that I let gas off for well over 48 hours. Like, I started this cup about 5 or 6 days ago and I'm just now getting back to it. So I need to be super careful not to lift my clear coat. So I stuck this paper or this transfer tape to my pant leg multiple times to kind of get some of the tacky off of it, but yet it's still tacky enough to hold the vinyl. So I am just trying to figure out the best way to do this. I'm really known for just pulling the whole thing off and trying to stick it on, and I may just do that. I think that might be best. Just thinking of cutting out and trying to do all kinds of everything, but yeah, I think this is just gonna be the best way for me. I don't really have a preference as to where it goes. So, just gonna go for it right here. I am using my grid lines though to kind of help me get lined up. So if my head ends up in this video, I apologize because I gotta get over close to it to look. Well, I don't think I got it straight, but I think I can adjust it around along the way. Okay, no peeling so far, although it did just lift that one a little bit. Okay, so got it lining up here. I realized I missed a couple of weeding spots and I got a little wrinkle, but we're gonna make this work. And it did not line up perfectly well, but a paint marker will cover that. I mean, that's pretty dang close though. All right, Just continuing to gently peel. Okay, looks like it worked out pretty well. Like I said, I did miss a couple of spots weeding. And then this little wrinkle here I need to work out, which I'm just going to slice that. And let it overlap. Okay. So there's that. Now I'm going to give it its first layer of Brite tone since I applied that vinyl. And basically I will just continue Brite tone layers every 4 hours. And most likely just do 1 level sand and then more Brite tone layers until this one is complete. And these are just really simple, and like I mentioned earlier, just something for the guys or girls that love to hunt. So the more I looked at this, the more I thought it needed a little something else. So once that Brite tone was dry, I cut out this little Hunt, Eat, Sleep, Repeat decal and applied it right there below the deer and just kind of filled in that empty spot. I think it just looks so much better now. And then I'm just going to continue on with my Brite tone layers. I had a little mishap with one of my dots. It didn't quite stick as well, but just fixed that. And then again, continued on with Brite tone layers. Every 4 hours, I applied a new layer. I did have to do 1 level sand on this tumbler and then more Brite tone layers. But overall, this was just a really easy tumbler. I think it's, you know, just a perfect gift for the hunter, outdoorsman, and I think that they would really appreciate it. Wood grains are a lot of fun. I've never ventured out past, you know, the brown tones for wood grains. I know a lot of people do colored wood grains, which are really cool. Maybe someday I'll do that, but I hope that you've been inspired and encouraged to try a wood grain tumbler if you haven't done so yet. Like I mentioned earlier, I know I do have other wood grain tumbler videos, but I just thought this one would just be another fun one for this time of year. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Go check out my Facebook group, Tumbler Talk with Karen Basket DIYer. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.